we got 2 Pro Bowlers added to the list, man. Cincinnati Bengals, obviously, going to the Super Bowl opened up 2 slots because Joe Mixon and Jamar Chase were Pro Bowlers as well. So now that they are off the list in terms of being able to participate in the game, we have 2 of our guys, Najee Harris, rookie running back, and Diontae Johnson, both getting the nod in terms of being Pro Bowlers now. So to me, man, I think that was really good, man. Definitely for Najee, I think that his play, I didn't think that the initial Pro Bowl roster, I didn't think that he should have been on that, but I do like him as an alternate going in.
Deserving.
I definitely thought that he was worth that. I thought he was deserving of that. Diontae is the mixed bag because we know Diontae as a whole, if you're talking about the season, was really good. It just ended with a bad taste in the mouth because the drops came back. But as a whole, I thought Diontae had an excellent season, man. In some cases, even rose his play up. But like we said, we know the ending of it definitely left a foul taste in our mouth, man. But I definitely think that both of those guys deserve that recognition, though.
Well, I'm with you. Wish it wasn't in this fashion that they made the Pro Bowl.
Wow.
But I remember at the time, I definitely felt like Diontae got snubbed. It was, 3 or 4 weeks before the season ended, whenever they made the Pro Bowl announcements, because at that point, he was ahead of a couple receivers in yards. I know the main one, I could throw Diggs in there, but Diggs had more touchdowns.
Yeah.
But he had more yards than Keenan Allen. He had more touchdowns at the time, too. And it actually still holds up right now because I'm looking at the stats. He has more receptions than Keenan Allen. 1,161 yards, 8 touchdowns. Keenan Allen, 1,138 yards, 6 touchdowns. So he had the stats. I always thought he was deserving right off the bat. But it's weird because right now, I'm not as... I don't feel as gun-ho about his Pro Bowl nod because of how the season ended. You're right. Yeah. A couple critical drops late in regular game seasons, but also the playoffs. The playoffs is one of those things you can't really unsee. Still deserving that. Like, if someone's going to get in, I'm really happy that he got in.
Yeah.
Because it's still the season in and of itself, start to finish, deserving of a Pro Bowl.
Right, the full body of work.
Definitely.
And
even without him getting as a reserve, I think he should have got in just straight off the bat.
Yeah. And I know in this moment right now, it feels cheapened because it's like, man, you're an alternate. You didn't get the initial nod, but man, when we're talking about this thing down the line, we're not bringing up. I know you try to bring it up, but when we talking, it's like, bro, nobody's bringing that up, man.
I mean, for Teddy Bridgewater and
but the reason why no one brings it up because it's like we know why you bring it up. It's a hate move. It's kind of like when people say, "Well, Ben don't have MVP." You're like, "Well, it don't matter." Now, you know what I mean? Like we know how this goes, bro.
Bro,
we know how this goes, bro.
But I think we both can we both agree? We think Najee and Diontae getting the Pro Bowl this year is more deserving of some quarterbacks in the past. Because Najee's like top 5 in running back statistics across the board.
I think
too.
The context is different though, because now we got to play that game of, okay, who's ever had an alternate Pro Bowl? Has Ben ever had an alternate Pro Bowl selection?
I don't know.
Because that's what we open up. That's all.
Ooh, but I think with some of those guys, it was like 3 or 4 guys.
But it's like, I get it. It
was like all 3 Pro Bowl starters.
But think about this right now, right? For the AFC quarterback, it's going to be the same thing, right? You're not getting, right now, Mahomes, I think, is on the roster and one other quarterback.
Is it Herbert?
Might be Herbert, yeah, because Allen and Lamar pulled out. No, Allen and Lamar said they're not playing in it. They've already said that. We know Joe Burrow's not because he's in the Super Bowl now.
Who's the replacement?
You see what I'm saying?
We know about the replacement?
Like, that's 3 guys right there. Yeah.
Is Ben getting in? I would have known.
It counts then, huh?
Exactly. I would have known.
That's my thing, man. I just think, man, alternate or not, and it doesn't.
Oh my! It's Mac Jones. Come on,
wow.
Man.
So, but look, we just named 3 guys to pull it on right there, right? But I don't think it takes away.
The Diontae and Najee feel right. The Mac Jones Pro Bowl because you just named Josh Allen, Lamar. Nah.
But what's the difference? Mac was balling this year. Mac led his team to the postseason this year as a rookie this year. 1 year away from their team not even making the playoffs. I mean, let's be real, man.
This doesn't feel right.
Mac did what he was supposed to do, bro.
Ben was snubbed, dude. This is a disgrace. This is a disgrace.
That's all I'm saying, bro. That's all I'm saying. Hey, man.
I do feel like Diontae should have got in off the bat.
Okay.
So that's the one thing with him. But Najee, I agreed with you. Whenever I saw the 3 running backs for AFC, I was like, I don't really think he's going to. He's had a good season, but over those 3, I can't really make that big of a case. But he finished the season solid. And if you're going to have a first alternate, he's
got to be the guy, right? He's got to be the guy.
Absolutely. Because like I said, top 5 across the board and like all the rushing stats and the O-line that he had to deal with this year. For sure. Yeah. So good for both of them.
Well, and the other part, going back to the quarterback situation, in all seriousness, the reason why I don't necessarily discount those Pro Bowls is this. When we talk franchise quarterbacks, we've already said it's only 7 guys max every season. 7 guys. And it's typically the same 5 to 7 guys every season. So if we already know 2 of those guys, but think about this though. If you already know 2, it says 7 guys, right? We're gonna do math. 7 guys. 2 guys automatically removed every year because they're going to the Super Bowl. Okay, so we know that. Now you got 5 guys left. If we're assuming that of these 5, they're always in the conversation postseason, okay, probably 2 more of them are going to pull out because they just got out of a playoff game. They just got beat. Case in point, Josh Allen. We know with Lamar they lost, but obviously he was hurt going into it. But those are 2 guys. So you're looking at realistically 3 quarterbacks. If 3 of those guys stay on the roster, which we're already pointing to in terms of right now saying Mahomes and Herbert, we don't got any more franchise level quarterbacks. So that's the next tier you go to. And all it takes is for one of those guys to have that better season, have an okay season, or just hey man, he was top 15 this year instead of being top 20 this year. That'll get a guy in like that.
Am I missing something?
What do you think about?
Wait, am I missing something here? They didn't give it to Derek Carr?
Check on it. Let's see.
Because I mean, Derek Carr definitely deserves over Mac Jones. If I'm going to make that comparison, we would have heard something though, right?
Just Google it. Just type in the names. Yeah,
they gave it to Derek Carr, but he backed out because that doesn't make sense to me.
No.
In terms of,
because all I'm saying is
Hunter Renfrow made the Pro Bowl. Wow.
But this is my thing. Like, if not Mac Jones, then who's the next guy that we're gonna say? Because that's my only issue. Like when we go in this route of Mac Jones a bum and this and that, who are we saying was a better player than him that should have been in the Pro Bowl this season? Not based on full body work, just this season. So he's a good example. Yeah, did he pull out? Because if he pulled out, that's another part of it.
Like I don't think he was in. Did he get the invite and say no? I'm not 100% sure on that. That one's strange to me.
Yeah. He's definitely strange. The Carr part is strange.
Yeah. I would say Carr's more deserving than Mac Jones.
And what was Carr's numbers compared to Jones this year? Because I know
Carr almost led the league in passing.
Carr balled
4,800 yards.
Yeah, he balled. How many touchdowns?
His touchdown interception ratio is not that good. 23-14.
And Mac Jones, what, 20? Was it 22-11? 22-12? He was like 2-1 as well. Yeah.
Carr's got the gaudy yards though. The 4,800. Raiders up and down season with all their scenarios that were going on. I would give it to Carr over him.
Now, who do you think had? See, for me, I'm stuck between the storylines with Carr versus how hard of it was. Like, which situation was better in the terms of like going into this year? Do we think the Patriots had a better situation, or we thought the Raiders had a better situation? You know what I mean? But
man, it's already Raiders, popping up on Max Pro Football Reference. Yeah, man. Bro, it says one-time Pro Bowl. Come on, man.
All right, what about Ryan Tannehill? He's another name that I saw. They said, what about Ryan Tannehill over Mac Jones?
I don't got to check his stats now.
But I feel like
he had a bad season. Though,
I also feel like that's. But I feel like that's a reach. Also, when we started throwing him in there, and that's why I like. How can I discredit Mac Jones when the names we're pulling up to say who should be over him is Derek Carr and Ryan Tannehill? Like, they're all in the same boat to me. Now, Carr is definitely the higher end of that. I think Tannehill should be second and then Mac. But based on this season, Mac played well. Mac had a situation where he went in there and turned that franchise back around, made everybody start talking about Belichick and the Patriots again. Like, that's a part of it.
How about we give it to the guy who led the league in game-winning drives? How about we do that? That's what I'm thinking.
Talk about that, man.
7 goes.
Talk about that.
I'm serious. If we're doing Mac Jones, why isn't Ben in? Why aren't we giving it to him? You want to go through the stats? They're pretty much damn the same, if not more in Ben's favor.
I just know
plus the game-winning drives. Dealing with that O-line, Mac Jones didn't have to deal with the O-line Ben was dealing with.
I'm not going there with you.
So that's where I have my rankings there for Pro Bowl alternates. Give it to Ben. I would have understood Carr though. Like legitimately, I would have understood Carr. I wouldn't be going crazy if it was Carr. But if you're doing Mac Jones, Ben should be in. What's going on here? If you're gonna do Mac,
Carson Wentz should have been over Ben. Come on, bro, stop it.
Wentz.
Stop it, bro.
Here's what I'll say though. No, here's what I'll say. Yeah. You could look at the stats because Carson Wentz probably did have a pretty decent statistical season.
Yeah.
Came down to it. Last game, win to get in. Who won? That's all I'm saying, dude.
But we can't go that route because those are two different arguments. Now we're talking about like your team's performance and can you get your team over the hump? And
Wentz was the reason they lost, though. That was pitiful. Ben's the reason we won.
But Ben's also the reason we lost some games too, though.
I'd say more O-line.